first things first, you have got some fancy story to tell me about you not feeling good whenever Danny could have come and podcasted on Sunday.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that was wild weekend that I was not there for.
What do you mean?
So, I had Thursday, the day after Valentine's Day, I took the old lady McKinley up to Omaha. We had a
I saw him, yeah.
really nice day.
Had a good port.
Ports are awful. God, I ordered.
Why'd you order it then?
It had been a while since we'd been out to a place that actually has port, and it has been a while since I remembered how terribly sweet it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I ordered.
I can remember if they're dry or sweet.
They're so sweet.
Yeah.
Like cough syrup sweet. Yeah, I ordered us a tiramisu, and I was like, I'll take two 10-year-old Tommies, the ports.
Yeah.
Brought it out in the little port glasses, Took a sip, and I was like, oh God.
It's like
So
grape juice, isn't it? I mean,
it's like
worse.
It's kind of thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy red wines a lot, but that was terrible. No, but go ahead.
Well, I was just trying to think. So I tend to like dry reds,
Same.
and then if it's fruity, then I would want a white.
Yeah,
Typically, I don't like fruity reds, and I don't think I particularly care for dry whites. Most cases,
I
don't care for the hangover the next day either.
all the sugar, yeah.
Well, and it just doesn't take much to
I
make
don't-
you not feel very damn good. I don't think, but I'm also old, so
Wine is really different though when you pair it with things.
Yeah.
So if you take like a Chardonnay or like a drier Riesling and pair it with just a cheesecake, totally different flavor
Yeah.
for the cheesecake and the wine. Like when you have both at the same time,
Yeah.
it's really weird. But I enjoy pairing
I've never
wines.
gotten that fancy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just try them.
Well, you got to remember, I was basically a sommelier there for a while.
Yeah, that's a made-up word.
Yeah. No,
Sommelier Keefe.
that has a ring to it,
It
don't it?
does, yes. Most definitely have to take you around so you can sommelier in different places and get it videotaped. Yeah.
Do you think the Roost is
Sommelier
open right
on the
now?
street. We'll do sommelier on the street once a month.
Yeah. That'd be fun. No, but before we went out to Spezia, we went to the Museum of
that's good.
Shadow. Yeah, Spezia's
Yeah,
the
it's
place
really
to
good.
go.
I haven't been there in years, but
It's worth it.
so I'm sorry, you went where?
We went to the Museum of Shadows.
Like
Yeah.
M Shadows?
M. Night Shadows.
Well, no, M Shadows is the singer for
Avenged Sevenfold.
Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
is it a museum dedicated just to him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which you'd think it'd be more to the Rev, since he's dead.
Yeah. The Rev. So what did he do?
He's the drummer.
Okay, he was the
Yeah.
drummer, right? And then Sinister Gates and Zachy Vengeance, and then I don't know if
And
the
then the bass
bassist got a
player.
name.
No, I don't think so.
Anyway, sorry. So what actually takes place over there? It's not just, cut off black shirts and skinny jeans.
And fedoras.
Yeah, and fedoras, and there's the whole. They don't have the whole anthology of like this is what he could do, and he was screaming, and then they get you on the timeline of whenever he tried to sing because he couldn't scream anymore.
Does that happen to him?
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
common.
it did happen to him. He did way more screaming originally, from
Yeah.
what I understand, and it's. Gonna be honest with you, it's been a long time since I've listened through most of their discography, but I do seem to recall you could look like up old, less popular albums, and they were pretty much a screamo band.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The early stuff,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep, and he had to stop. He had to have surgery, I think, and
Oh, that sucks.
somebody needs to fact check all this shit. But I'm pretty sure that's more or less what happened.
Yeah.
So.
Where streams that?
He's dedicated to the man.
Dude.
I haven't even approached him yet. We got to get this thing off the ground so I can get his buy-in.
Well, we probably need him if we're going to be like interviewing people.
I know. He
We
likes
need
to
a fact
drink. Yeah.
That's fine. There's nothing better than a person on a computer fact checking everything going on and they're just hammered.
Yeah. But anyway,
Hammering time, James.
He'd be good for it. That's his job, looking stuff up.
Yeah, no. So the Museum of Shadows is a haunted antiquities, I want to
Okay.
say.
All right. I could see that.
Yeah, so ghosties.
Where is it?
It is downtown Omaha. You have the downtown area, and then you have the stoplight that takes you over to Council Bluffs, and the other side is the airport.
Okay, yeah.
Or the Century CHI. That's what it is now. Yeah.
You go north or south?
Yeah, it's just
when
like
you get
right
off of
there.
480.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So towards the old market or towards CHI?
Closer to CHI.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on that one way that takes you across the overpass.
Okay.
Yeah. So we go there and we're talking. I ended up paying for a black light because they have like blood splatter on some things because some things were used in murders or crime scenes. Yeah. I wish I didn't buy the black light. $10. I didn't see nothing on anything. And being partially colorblind, I'm wondering if that may have something to do with it.
Did McKinley not see anything?
So we also rented a like a white noise machine thing where it jumps the radio frequencies to like hear stuff. So she was busy with that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so glad I did not have that because I would have had a heckin' seizure. Just the whole time it's just
yeah.
it was driving me nuts. Her just walking around with this like turn that down. That is driving me insane.
You should just whipped out the regular old EMF meter. Hell, my mom has one. She told me you were going.
You could have rented them there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But the lady was like, "This one's kind of cool." Like, so I was like, "All right, you talked me into it."
The black light or the noise thing?
The noise thing.
Oh, yeah.
It-
There's nothing good when it comes to white noise at any time.
It's so
White noise is, you probably remember in the day, and even some of the newer, or well, not newer, some of the older smart TVs still have it where you get the white noise channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, have you ever turned that on and appreciated it? Fuck no, the first thing you do is go, God, gotta get that off of there.
I know,
right?
it's scary.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's loud.
Yeah, it's scary. You don't know what's coming on. Did you ever watch the movie? It was from like the 2000s, White Noise. It's like a scary movie.
It was a spoof?
No.
Oh, okay. It was a scary movie called White Noise. I don't know. It sounds familiar.
But even Poltergeist.
Right, yeah.
You know, so I always think of that. So like, especially the tube TVs, when we were growing up, we had tube TVs that, especially after The Ring, watching Poltergeist, White Noise, The Ring, anytime that happened, I'd be like, we got to get that off immediately.
Yeah. It's just really loud and annoying. You're not in control of it, really.
No.
You ever notice like those deep sleep things aren't including white noise?
No, heavy.
It's always like green noise, brown noise, purple noise, or like some lower, you know what I mean? They're all lower tones than what white noise is or lower frequency or whatever. But yeah, white noise is annoying.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those memes? It's like, hey, do you mind if I put on my white noise machine? It's like somebody like one night stand, and it's like just some old TV show or something stupid.
Yeah. Well, I do that sometimes, like in hotels or somewhere where anymore they just have those little units that like stick outside and like you turn the fan on and you can't even hear it.
Yeah.
And I have to have a fan, so like I've got a fan app. But even then, those are always still usually lower than honest to God just white noise. I feel like you'd have to be a freaking psychopath to want to actually sleep to white noise.
Oh yeah, there's something not clicking right upstairs. So, do you have to sleep with the fan because it's cooling you, or because you're used to the noise? Really? Yeah. Weird.
I usually don't want the fan on me.
Oh really?
Yeah, not directly. I mean, if it was really hot or something, I'll let it. But it typically, no matter what time of the year, will still like stuff me up. Like it'll plug me up a little bit, breathing there. I don't know if it's just because of all the air and you're, breathing or whatever. But typically, if a fan is directly on me, I'll wake up and I'll be stuffy to some degree. Yeah,
fair. Yeah, I know. I like having a fan on me.
Yeah, for the cool.
Yeah,
I like to be cold. Like I definitely like my room to be really cold, but I don't necessarily need like the air blowing directly on me.
Fair. So anyway, there's 2 floors of this museum, right? The lady goes, the top floor is like cool. There's a bunch of stuff you look at. And she's like, when you go downstairs, there's like a weight change in the air. Like it feels different down there.
Uh-huh.
And so upstairs, there's just like a wall full of like haunted dolls, and just driving me nuts. Just a bunch of dolls, and I'm not trying to knock the place. I enjoyed my time there.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, they had like the little note cards that go with it. It's like the story behind it's like, I found this at a garage sale, and it just had a weight to it. It was just something. It was just
Right.
It was just kind of
Sinister.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird how it was worded. I'm sure it's probably just the verbiage that stuck with me a little bit more.
It just had some stanky juju on it,
Yeah.
according to this particular individual.
Yeah, but they had like
Well, real quick, okay. Well, no, go ahead.
no, go ahead. No.
No. At some point, I want to ask you this, but keep telling me about scary stuff before I ask the question. So,
Okay. They had like human bones, like skulls. They had like saws and like axes and stuff that were used like in murders. Stuff that were used in like a cult,
yeah,
like sacrifices or
giant punch bowl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we upstairs was like, it was cool looking at everything, reading the history about it. Then we go downstairs and they give you flashlights because they keep it dark in there almost all the time because that adds to the ambiance. Yeah.
The aura.
Yeah, it's like when you go to Olive Garden, you spend $20 on a glass of wine. You're paying for the atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I will say going down, you could tell it like the air was a little different because it was a basement.
Yeah.
But it felt a little different, I'd say. But also her suggesting that kind of puts it in your head. Power of suggestion is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're walking.
If you're open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If she'd said that and you said, "There's no fucking way when I go down there, it's gonna be much different than up here," and it probably wouldn't seem that way to
No,
you.
I said I spit on her, dude.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I said, you bitch. Yeah.
And you got invited back.
No, well, yeah. But when she said that and I was going
I guess if I
berserk,
want to take Jamie, I'll just invite McKinley because of your behavior.
McKinley had to hold me back. She was like, down, boy, down.
So you get down there and it's
yeah.
dank.
It's dank as heck.
Yeah.
We're walking around and kind of doing the same thing upstairs, reading everything in school. There was a haunted chair thing, or a chair that was used, or that was around a death, I think it was, from Maryville.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was neat. It was
Treatment center.
no, it was just a house in Maryville, and it was like a box or something from like 1908, like really old, really cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So you walk in at the very end of the basement, they have like this gate and like crucifixes, and when you walk in, you're supposed to use holy water because this is like we're all like the
Just spritz.
no, it's like holy water in Germex things.
Who's poor bastard's got to pray over that every day?
No idea.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, so I do it and I start going. I'm like, what? I know it's holy water, but in my head, it's supposed to be the consistency of hand sanitizer, and it was just water, and it really threw me off. I was like, this place is haunted. So, but this is like where all like the bad occult stuff. There's a mask used in a murder that had like blood on it and stuff. The mask was like, it was from like the 2000s, so it's like a shiny, reflective. So I couldn't really see anything with the light, with the blood light or black light.
Yeah.
But there's like a Dybbuk box and a bunch of crazy things. Do you know what a Dybbuk box is?
I do not.
Oh, dude. So it's a box that like you trap a soul in it and then a demon that is attached to the soul.
I got you. So it's like so like the Dybbuk box is that thing that in 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo, if you remember that show, they open it up and they all get out.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
Are they making, not to get off topic, a 13 Ghost?
Well, according to Facebook, but yeah, I think it is on the Netflix.
Is it gonna have Matthew Lillard? Is that his name?
I don't know. That'd be cool if it did.
I hope so. We just watched. You ever see Serial Mom?
No.
Oh, that's got Matthew Lillard. It's a great movie. You need to watch it.
Well,
so
he's in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
And they've, I guess, signed up for 2 more films.
Really?
And he's, I think, gonna be in both of them, I believe. That's like, so like Jamie's obviously a huge horror fan, which I am too. I tend to gravitate more towards the older ones.
Yeah.
For the most part, like my favorite Halloween.
Are you
Even the
more into
original, I
the
try to watch it every year. Pretty
more into the
much.
slasher?
Well, yeah, I guess the thing in the '70s was like, I mean, there's a little bit of slash, and most of it's just a bunch of just high suspense.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have a lot of money or a lot of other ways to do anything else. So like, I mean, the slashing part, it doesn't do much for me. It's just I just really enjoy how they made pretty much normal crap really suspenseful.
Yeah, I think for I
Like
guess
Friday the 13th doesn't do a lot for me, for
yeah.
instance. So it's
Last House on the Left, that's a 70s. That's good.
well, the original Exorcist too. Like
Yeah.
the actual stuff where like they're actually doing the exorcism and that's not the scary part. It's all the stuff of not knowing what the hell's going on with
Yeah.
her up till the end is like really impressive.
The
Yeah.
original Exorcist, one of my favorite
Yeah,
movies.
it scared the shit out of me when I think mom finally let me watch it when I was like I was in like 5th grade, so whatever age that
Yeah.
is, maybe 9 or 10. And it scared the shit out of me.
I never was like afraid of it, but like my dad was big into horror, so like I grew up watching it. Like they never like sheltered movies from me at all.
Right, yeah.
But like when I was like 4, I'd go around and go stigmata.
I don't think I remember that movie. I don't know if I ever sat down and watched it all. I think that was one that mom kind of was like, "You can sit down and watch this if you want, but I don't
Yeah.
think you're gonna like it." And so I didn't really.
It's still kind of scary. If
Yeah.
it's creepy.
Creepy.
Yeah. You should watch it again and just
See, yeah.
tell me what you think. Because I watched it. I try to watch it every couple of years just because I like it.
Yeah.
And it always kind of, there's a part of me that's just like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And like I said, I remember clips of it that were creepy, but I just don't know the story. I don't really
Yeah.
know what happens. There was another one that was from that same era of time, early 2000s ish, because Stigmata was around then, right? Like 2000 what?
The movie Stigmata?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like 2002, 3,
Yeah,
something like
probably.
that. I'm so mad at myself because I'm drawing a blank on the name of the freaking movie.
Well, what happens in it?
Well, Kevin Bacon's in it.
Trimmers?
No, no.
The first couple of movies, those are sweet movies.
Scared the shit out of my brother when he was little.
Dude, it bothered me too.
Yeah.
Just playing outside, like,
Outside,
what's
yeah.
going on underneath of me?
That was earlier. He, I'll look it up and I'll tell you at some point if I can get a chance here. I cannot remember the name of the movie, but there is a girl that got raped and murdered and is buried in like a concrete wall of their basement. And the ghost keeps like messing with him in the house, and it's like starting like he's getting really freaked out and kind of loses his mind over a little bit because he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on the
Yeah.
whole time. I can't for the life of me remember the name of it, but it was the same type of way. It's all just real like suspenseful the whole
Yeah.
time. Bizarre things happen, and then like eventually gets to the point where he starts figuring out what happened, and I think the beauty of that type of movie is like it never really turns into like some type of monster or some type of fight or anything like that. He just eventually finds the body, and then it can. So I really like that. I'll try to look it up. But anyway, I didn't mean to. I guess I don't know. Talk about horror for the whole hour because
The whole Edgar Allan Poe burying a body in the wall of a basement.
yeah.
What is that? The Heart?
Yeah. The Telltale Heart.
Telltale Heart,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I remember.
Have you watched
I suppose we read that, but I don't remember it very well.
yeah, it's just he like murders somebody and the whole time he's in the house he just hears rubbed up.
Yeah.
Until like his conscience.
What's the one with like the pendulum, or is that what it's called? What's the one with isn't there a deal with like the swinging axe?
There's so many.
Yeah, I know. I'm screwing that up real bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
God, we're so worldly.
I know it. What are you doing? This is not what I wanted to do.
Dead air.
I was hoping you'd pick it up and keep talking about your
Oh, the
adventure.
ghosties, yeah. So we're down in this basement area, right? We're in the area with the Dybbuk box, which reading about that is crazy too, because just like some poor soul stuck in a box with a demon that can't be. It's not a good way to live eternity. But so we're back there, and we have the white noise machine thing, and clear as day, 3 times. Even somebody that was another patron of the museum heard it. It said, "Come closer." Clear as day, 3 different times. And in this area, there's a back room there, and there's a sign that says you're supposed to ask if you can come in. And in there, they have this doll named Claire. Claire is wired to a chair with a crucifix behind like a cage
Yeah.
or like a rope and stuff, so you can't like go back there. And it's supposed to like there's videos of like Claire shaking and like doing the stuff, like
Yeah.
and we're looking at her, and you can talk. You can try to talk to them, and then you have to like the lady said, keep talking to it, and it'll like realize who you're talking to, like say its name. We started to do that. We were asking Claire questions, and then out of nowhere, just really loudly and clear as day, we hear, "Be gone!"
Is it through the white noise thing?
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
which could be somebody upstairs
Yeah.
on the radio.
Yeah.
I kind of hard though,
Right, yeah.
because just one lady working.
Right.
But so we get out of there, and McKinley is, when she's nervous, she tries to be like all goofy and like moves her body all weird. She goes, "What about that?" And like, "Let's go look over there." And the whole time, like, there's another couple that like aren't really going into that room because they heard what just happened. And McKinley's like, "You can go in there if you want." And it's like moving all weird, trying to be goofy. And I just immediately call her out. She's like, "You don't have to do that to me."
Those people like that?
Yeah.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Did it get them in the room?
Yeah, I
Did
think,
Did
yeah.
it break the ice
Yeah.
enough that they were
I,
comfortable?
Dude, people love watching other people bully people.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh, I love it. If there's like some old person like with a cane walking like on the street and there's some young kids bullying him, love it.
Yeah.
I'll sit and watch.
Sit and watch. Well, you should probably move to the city and go hang out on the public transport, because I'm pretty sure that type of bullying or worse goes on all the time. You could just watch,
Yeah, so I would like to do that, but emotionally, I'm not strong enough if they turn to me. They're like,
I'm going to keep your distance.
"Hey, Mr. Patchy Beard," or something. I'll just shut down immediately.
Yeah, hey, Mr. Country Mullet.
Yeah, country. I got it up today, dude.
I know, that's cute.
Thanks.
I like that a lot. Stir of Echoes, by the way, is the name of that movie, and you should
Oh,
also,
yeah, that's a good movie.
You did okay.
Yeah.
So, did you not remember any of the gist? And when I said Kevin Bacon,
I mean, Kevin Bacon, he was. Oh, I know. I always saw it from Dusk to Dawn was Kevin Bacon, but that's
it's
John
George Clooney.
No, it's John Bon Jovi.
Doing what?
Or he's not. No, it's not that one. It's in one of those vampire movies. It's John Bon Jovi, not Kevin Bacon.
In a vampire movie.
Yeah.
That's weird. It seems like I would know that. John Bon Jovi in a vampire movie.
He was the singer for the band Bon Jovi.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was the singer for the guitarist Richie Sambora, is what he was.
Now he's the singer for the guitar player Phil X.
I don't even know if I know who that is.
Phil X is awesome.
Okay.
When I was like growing up, I would watch these videos called American, what is it? Fretted Americana.
Mm-hmm.
It was a vintage guitar store, and they from LA, I think, and they'd hire him to come in and like play these guitars, try to sell them,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd like sing and do a bunch of Van Halen's, like yow. It was awesome.
I'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stir of Echoes. It was a great show.
What?
Uh-oh.
God dang it.
Did it quit again?
Optimize. I hate that this keeps being a reoccurring theme for us.
What's that?
We just keep losing space on the video, or it stops or whatever.
No, we're not that professional yet. Most people wouldn't use their phone for this yet.
Well, nobody has to know this is my phone. I wasn't going to even bring that up. But if you must know, it's my phone.
So John Bon Jovi was in a vampire movie.
Shot to the hot, baby.
That's what I'm trying to find here, because you thought you mixed up Kevin Bacon and
Yeah.
John Bon
Well, when I was little, yeah.
There's Cry Wolf, but that doesn't look like
No.
a
What did you type in?
John Bond. Oh, vampire. Oh, vampires. John Carpenter's
Yeah, with a Y.
vampire.
With a Y. Yeah.
Well, no, that's just no. There's no Y in it, but it's not the original one. So like John Carpenter did vampires that has like oh Jesus, James Woods in it, but this is like Vampires Los Muertos, which
Yeah.
was some type of follow up in 2002 to that. That first Vampires movie is pretty damn good.
You know what the best vampire movie ever written was?
Interview with a Vampire?
Yeah.
This is a good movie.
That's it.
So when you were talking about vampire movies, that's where my mind went, was Interview with a Vampire. Like that's in the 90s. And this was 2002. But yeah, I was wondering, like, that's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, well, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt were vampires.
Yeah, you don't really pay attention to that being Tom Cruise like the whole time. It's
like
crazy.
the one thing that he does that you don't really feel like you're watching Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he's just
No offense, Tom Cruise. Like I'm not.
Well, he's
trying to-
awesome.
yeah, but like he's not to me. I hate trashing on somebody like this, but like you go to a Tom Cruise movie to see Tom Cruise. He's one of
Yeah.
those actors. You know what I mean? But
like Will Smith.
yeah. Depending on the work, there's some stuff he's done that, like, I don't know, like I Am Legend's not very Will Smith like, and it's only him in it for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great.
But
movie,
like
too.
originally, like Men in Black, Wild Wild West, which I don't understand why it gets so much hate, but that's for a different podcast.
That movie's so wild,
Dude,
bro.
it's so fucking funny. I
I
don't know
know.
why everybody hates it so bad.
Who was
He come out and apologized for it once. I'm like, dude, you don't need to apologize
Why?
for that. First of all, the music's good. I don't care what anybody says. Cheesy, sure, but who cares? And him and Kevin Kline are
That's it.
hilarious
Yeah.
the entire time.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, I think it's great too. Like the biggest thing that I think that from what I've heard out of it, that people really hated, particularly at the time, was the steampunk stuff.
That makes.
And I could see why people wouldn't like that, but that doesn't, to me, that doesn't detract from the story or the jokes enough to.
Yeah, I don't know though. Steampunk is never cool.
Well, and of course it's a Civil War movie, so it makes even less sense. But
It's not a Civil War movie. It's a Wild Wild West movie.
well, it's right after the Civil War.
Is it after or before?
It's right after because the like. He talks about in the Civil War, like he's after the dude that doesn't have the ear because he killed
yeah,
his
that's
family, and it's Ulysses Grant is the president
Yeah.
because Klein plays him, and then also pretends to be him whenever he's Artemis Gordon.
That's right.
And they're doing the railroad, so
Yeah.
it's shortly after the Civil War, like however long it was before Grant became president after that. So. But yeah, it gets a lot of hate, and I don't get it. I love that movie. I watched it not too terribly long ago.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and there's even stuff that I forgot about that in there that's just so funny.
It's almost like the PC version of Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A little bit, yeah. It's along those same lines for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, but anyway, I was trying to get back to horror. And we were talking about like The Exorcist scaring us, or like you were asking me kind of like if it's slasher things. It's more about suspense. But the thing that I find that's interesting, I'm not religious, and I don't particularly like believe in the stuff that it's, I guess, like these demon possession movies and stuff are derived from, which is largely religion, because they believed at one time, or kind of half-ass continued to believe that you could be possessed by a demon because there's a heaven and a hell and all that stuff. I don't really buy that, but I don't know what it is about demon stuff that legitimately freaks me out, even though I don't really buy into the religious aspect of it,
See, I'm big into like the Exorcist movies and like the demon, ghost, and stuff. I think what it is just like the helplessness of being in a situation like that.
Right, and it's very commonly paired with, is it demon possession or mental illness?
Yeah, I wrote a paper on that in college
Yeah.
because exorcisms, they are performed all the time, and they are extremely dangerous because, one, most of them are undiagnosed mental health issues, and people aren't eating, and they're giving this certain light onto blaming something and not getting the actual help.
That they need.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Emily Rose was all about, right? because she
yeah.
died after an exorcism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've never sat down and watched that start to finish.
The Emily Rose one, that's more of a
It's like a
handheld.
courtroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing's about the trial.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Good. Yeah. I've always heard good things. I just never got it watched.
Yeah, no, I think there should, well, in order to get like an actual exorcism, like through the Catholic Church, you have to go through like all these actual like doctors and different things. You have to be diagnosed and kind of weeded out before they'll even
Consider. I figured they wouldn't even do it anymore.
No, they still.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the Museum of Shadows, there were retired Bibles by exorcists, which is cool. Which I never thought about a Bible getting tired.
Yeah. Well, again, pretty hard work. Smiting, when you're smiting.
When you're
It
spending
takes a
your
lot
day
out
smiting.
of you. Yeah. I don't know why, but I agree. Exorcism stuff has always been. It's probably been the one thing that creeps me out. I think more because in the movies, almost always escalate to a point where you're no longer scared.
Yeah.
But like leading up to and the whole building up story and just like it's almost always children, so them behaving bizarrely, like being in that situation is like, what would you do? You know what I mean? And how would you not just be scared?
I always when I watch movies, I always think, what would I do?
Yeah.
And like half of like the slashers and stuff, I'd be like, I'm just gonna lay down.
Run away, just run.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
in the beginning, if you're at a house party and somebody comes and starts killing people, like I'm fucking out of here.
Dude, if you're at a lake, you don't want. I'm worried. Like
you don't want to get naked and get in the lake.
No, I worry that like
you want to get naked and get in the woods.
No, hear me out. I worry that like I'm more of like the dorky kid. Like maybe we should go, read a book or something instead of the guy that's gonna die but he's getting laid.
Yeah, yeah. The dorky people always die too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Pretty much the guys always die. Yeah. For one, which that's sexist. We need to fix.
So I've been working on my tits.
Yeah, and all the non-virgins obviously die always, which isn't really fair or true in most cases anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. So like slasher films generally don't do a lot for me, like we were talking about. Other than, like I said, I like the original Halloween. It's really suspenseful. And then the first Rob Zombie remake, though largely graphic, still had he still did a very good job of putting suspense in the same way, even though you already know how the movie turns out. And like I think the beauty of Rob Zombie's first remake, the second one I watched, it's okay, it gets really out of control for me. But you kind of I feel like that's a potential possibility when you're watching anything Rob Zombie, which he's getting ready to do. The Munsters.
That's already out.
It's out.
Yeah. Now,
where do you watch that at?
Netflix.
Really?
When you watch it, don't think of it as House of 1,000 or it is geared towards kids. Because the Munsters, like in general, it's not a scary thing. It's not violent. Yeah. It's a family comedy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So what he's trying to do is honor that tradition.
Really, I cannot believe that. I did not know that.
What I think Rob Zombie does really good in his movies is when you're watching, there's somehow he works in a weight of realness. Like this could actually happen. Like, and if it's more like somebody running from somebody with a knife, like and they throw the knife, like that could happen to you. And then you're just stuck on the ground. Yeah.
Well, see that, and that's why I think that was the beauty of the first Halloween movie, because he did a little bit more groundwork leading you up to why Michael Myers is Michael Myers, which they didn't really do in the first one. You know what I mean? And there's just a lot of bizarre suspense tied around Michael when he's little. And kind of his family situation, and then even, the doctor working with him. Like, I think all that stuff made it pretty creepy. And then there's like though a graphic scene when it's fairly early on, it was kind of hard to watch, but he beats somebody's face in.
Is it the janitor guy that's nice to him?
Maybe.
And that's what gets him out?
Yeah.
I feel
it's when he's a kid that he does it, if I remember right. And he just beats the face in. Of somebody, like before he even tries to kill the sister.
It's been a while since
I know it's been a while since I watch it. But graphic, yes, but like the thing about it is that's so freaky is like, you know that there's real kids that are crazy that
Yeah.
have done that sort of thing. So like whenever you watch it, it seems like you said, it's that realness to
Yeah.
it that goes beyond just being slasher and graphic, but like it's very real.
It's more psychological at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a really good job of capturing that. And even Halloween 2, where it is kind of a more gore fest, but he still fits in some of the bizarre, like what you would call like serial killer psychological things
Yeah.
into it. You know, it's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
A lot of horror movies, especially slashers, really focus on how, and I think he tries to aim to answer more of why.
Why, yeah.
And that really changes the narrative and the plot.
Yes, it's very brilliant to do
Yeah.
it that way, because whenever you turn on one of those cheesy shows, like everybody's obsessed with like ID and stuff like that, like those shows are only geared towards why, pretty
Yeah.
much, which makes it interesting, and that's what hooks you in, not so much the acts.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you seen Follow the House of Usher? Usher. It's on Netflix. It's a really good show. It goes into some who did we just talk about with the Telltale Heart? Poe.
oh yeah, Poe.
Yeah. But the whole show kind of revolves around why the whole family's dying and why they got so like rich and famous and pharmaceutical. It's a good show. You should watch
Okay.
it. Yeah.
You'll have to text it to me so I can remember it. I already forgot the name.
Yeah, House of the Fallen.
House of the Fallen.
Yeah, they do. It's the same people that do Haunting on Hill House.
Oh
Blind
yeah,
Man.
those are good.
Yeah, I love those. Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass was
Yeah, I'm
pretty
rewatching that
interesting.
one right now.
Yeah, it's another one that like is really really freaking good until shit hits the fan, and like it's okay once shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
but like it's another one you're just like, what in the fuck is going on here? You know?
I think that's more about managing expectations when you watch stuff because you get so invested early on that you know how you want it to play out or what you think. And then when it goes into the writer's direction, you're like, that shouldn't be right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. But like another one, so to get back on track with the demon stuff, another one that's really good. That again, I suppose it's horror, but it's really a thriller. But do you remember the movie Fallen? Denzel Washington, and he is following around the dean. He's
Is that the
a
one with.
cop, I think. I don't remember if he's a cop. I can't remember what he does, but there's a guy that's possessed that I'm pretty sure they're cops. That he's like I think he thinks he's just a murderer, but it turns out he's possessed.
Oh, yeah.
And like so he's like really involved in this one particular guy, and like I can't remember if he's trying to catch him. Damn. I'm gonna have to look that up. It's really good, and then eventually the demon gets into him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Rite with Anthony Hopkins?
I don't know if I watched that one.
It's a great movie. It's an exorcist movie,
Movie,
but
yeah.
he's a exorcist, like he's a priest.
He's the priest. Yeah, I remember
and he's
this. I don't think I watched
he gets possessed, and you don't realize it till like halfway through. Yeah,
that would be good.
It's really good. I love anything he does. Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah,
I love those movies.
Yeah. The first one's good. Hannibal was not bad. I don't know if I've watched. What was the other one? Like Red Dragon.
So it's
and I don't even know if he's not in it. That one as much, is it?
Yeah, he's it. Yeah, I think it's the butterfly
Effect.
Silence of the Lambs. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
it's
the first
butterfly,
one. Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, Red Dragon, and then Hannibal. And I feel like he's like one of the first like kind of blown up anti-heroes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, where you idolize him for all the wrong reasons.
Because he's helping her solve the problem.
And he's like a genius. So you idolize that in a way, but it overshadows how much of a monster he is. It's the same with like Rick and Morty, how people like idolize Rick, but he's a terrible person. He's a drunk.
Yeah. I think what they so I agree with everything you've said.
Thank you.
I think what the interesting thing about like those types of movies, wherever you have the wrong person helping make a right
Mm-hmm.
is because, like you said, he's a genius. But you then realize that like he's sick. It's not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's just there's something very wrong with him, but he's not.
Fuck. Fuck.
That's okay. If we're getting kind of close, so like I could just kind of ask you.
Oh.
So where were you going? Do you remember? Because
I don't even remember what I said. That threw me off so bad. What was I just saying?
I don't remember as fast on this one.
I guess I could have gone back and listened to it.
Yeah. Oh, what were you saying? I guess you
Hannibal
could.
Lecter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
we're just
it's-
talking about how they're actually sick. Is what I'm saying. Like,
well, it builds it. A lot of them, it's almost like a redemption story. So you really start rooting for them to like wrong their rights, but then at the end, it's like, oh wait, it wasn't redemption for them as much as a way to escape or to extort.
yeah, or the fact that no matter what, even if they're trying in a particular instance to do the right thing, they can't help themselves. It's a problem that they just cannot help themselves from doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. He knew there was something wrong with him, and he could not do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just
Gay stuff.
yeah,
That
gay
cracks.
stuff, but just the killing. It just
Yeah.
it's weird.
I can't imagine having those impulses.
I can't either. It would be fun to get into, maybe not on this episode because we could talk about horror forever and ever, but it would be fun to sit down and actually talk about some of the like the bizarre things that the killing can be sexual for people. It can be like an itch you can't scratch. It can be just all those different things because it's really, really weird that,
Yeah.
you know.
Just McKinley listens to a lot of like the true crime stuff, and I've heard many times just like feeling like God, where you have that control, especially the people that like kidnap or like I can decide at any time, like
Yeah.
it's over for you.
Over.
Bud.
Yeah. It gives you it's it gives you the same feeling that a high gives you. It's just you're doing it in a different way than some type of, I guess, drug or something that
Yeah.
comes out of the ground or
Well, it's
that's
all
manufactured.
adrenaline based.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just does the same thing to your brain. Just that can do for you too. It's just all
Yeah.
self-produced by the way you the way you react to it. You know.
And there's got to be something about it being like so taboo that like makes it even more exhilarating.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably what gets your,
Yeah.
chemicals going.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It's interesting. We should probably do a little bit better research than what I'm just spouting off. But like, it's no different than like trying to explain what it is like to play music in front of a bunch of people. You know, it still gives you that same type of rush.
Yeah.
You know, I was explaining to somebody asking me like, why do you kind of what's so great about it? I was like, I don't know. Have you ever done cocaine or marijuana or anything like that? Any drug, any getting really drunk, anything that like, I guess any of those drugs that make you feel great, like
Yeah.
it's like that, but you're not doing any of those things. It just
Yeah.
it gives you that same feeling almost.
Yeah, I will say there's nothing like being in front of a bunch of people all looking
yeah.
at you, and they're happy.
Well, and then you're in control of them too.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
getting everybody excited, pumped up.
Yeah, you
can
play
get
a,
'em-
a song they like.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
You-
great.
You can get them to jump around. You can get them to yell back to you. You
can get 'em to get you a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty wild. But no, I guess so. The one question I was going to ask you to kind of try to wrap this up, maybe, or at least the first part of this, because I think we could spend a lot of time in this genre.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even get to talk about Scream. Hopefully, I can remember.
Should get McKinley on for that. She is a big Scream head.
Jamie is too, and like when it came out, like it was kind of scary. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't. What was that? I mean, geez, we were probably 6 years old. I was probably
That was
96, 95, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So, and then Scream 2 was a big deal too. Both of them.
Scream 3 is one of them. I enjoyed that one.
Okay. Yeah, I get them kind of mixed up a little bit.
Scream 3 is the one where it's like they're at
movie
college.
set?
It's a play set.
Yeah.
I remember I liked that one because when I was little, I enjoyed the imagery so much of
Yeah.
like the ancient Roman and how it kind of like ties in. Like there's a little bit more elegance in the story and in the scene.
Scene,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the thing about the first one that I had forgotten about because we let Simon watch it, because Jamie is a huge fan of that one. And the thing, so I remember growing up, it was just like kind of like jump scare stuff
Yeah.
that like doesn't really bother me that much anymore. Um, the thing that's brilliant about that first Scream movie that I had forgotten about is how it's based on the rules from every single other
Yeah.
horror movie, and that's really, really fantastic.
My boyfriend's big and he plays football and he'll kick your ass.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
you should watch that with McKinley because she just like quotes it.
I don't know if I can watch it that much.
I already told you.
I like it way
about her-
better now than I did.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I already told you about her watching movies and stuff. How she'll just like be doing something, just like mouth the words or
Well,
like.
I caught myself doing the same thing to friends that you was talking about her doing
Yeah,
just the
the
other day.
Inagi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Inagi one. It was a different line, but
Pivot.
I was able to do it like what they do
Yeah.
without even really looking at it, you know.
Yeah, she does the same thing. It's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. I need to bring her on here and just talk about Friends.
Yeah. I should bring Jamie on and talk about ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good. Although she's off ducks, so you might want to pick pigs, chickens, or geese.
I would pick chickens, but I'm a little scared.
So when it comes to this, maybe do you think that this is getting into a deeper subject, but and I don't want to go too far into it, but at least at this point, but do you think like I was thinking about it the other day, like whenever you think about like whether it is possession or if you think you saw a ghost or if you anything that scares you, I guess, that like most people will tell you isn't real type stuff. Do you ever believe that in, I don't know how to put it this way, like, I think the older I get, the more I think about these types of things that people get scared of, or like if they, you know, people that believe in, you know, maybe aliens or ghosts or demons or things like that. I don't necessarily believe in those things. They interest me, but like people that really think that they've seen something, I tend to think that they really did because they wanted to or because they believe so much in it that their brain actually lets
Yeah.
them see that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so for us to run around and say like, okay, you say you saw a ghost. I don't believe in ghosts, and a bunch of us don't believe in ghosts. So you didn't really see a ghost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The older I get, the more I think is that person probably did see a ghost. What label we put on it because we don't believe it isn't fair.
Yeah.
You legitimately may have seen a ghost in your own mind. You know what I mean?
How everybody perceives their surroundings is their reality.
Reality, yes.
So for
We're all wandering around in different realities.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's possible, again, I really want to talk about this at some point, but not today. But it's possible that it's just me generating you right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or
Yeah.
you generating me, whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
But,
well,
like,
when it comes to like that whole thing, I always like obviously there's not even a camera. This isn't recording. You're just in your basement right now.
right.
No,
yeah.
but I always think about when people talk about I'm in a simulation.
Yeah,
I
that's
always-
what I really want to get into
I always-
at some point. But we gotta be careful.
Well, I always say you are, and this is us on the outside trying to reach you. You're in a simulation right now. Like you can get out.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and get out, dude, anytime.
Uh-huh.
We need you up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and get out, dude.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't it strange to think about?
Because you think I'm kidding, but
Yeah.
like seriously, you can get out anytime. God, I wish this was the other day.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Yeah.
have been able to produce this the other day. Shit, excuse me. But yeah, I definitely want to get down that road when we're in the right place.
Yeah, the thing with that is it's so hard to, in layman's terms or terms to understand. It's hard to.
Just have to talk about it. I think that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, but once you get talking about it, you get into that like pseudoscience sort of like you're bending things to match your narrative, and that's not a very valid way to go about it.
It's not, but it's the only way to have the conversation.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously no science backing anything of that up.
I think there's science.
But of course, if you talk about so then if you want to talk about science but you also believe the simulation theory, all science is made up by your own brain.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what does it matter, It was just like one time Tyler and I were arguing about, he believed that wireless charging would take place. Like literally I could just walk around and my phone will charge via, I mean, this isn't what he thinks, but via air. And I was like, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it could. I was like, no, because in order to transfer current, you have to have a conductor. There's no other way to do it. Like we tried. And he's like, well, what about induction transformers? And then he was even talking about I can't remember. I've got to look it back up. But he was even talking about Tesla coils and stuff like that, and how they were able to start doing it. I was like, yeah, dude, in really small spaces. Because yes, you can induce currents across certain spans depending on the voltage, basically, and proximity and all that stuff. You can do that, but what's going to stop somebody from getting electrocuted?
Yeah.
How are you going to keep people from and then to make that even more ridiculous, the fact that I'm now carrying around my phone, then technically, you're then saying electricity is just floating around in the air all the time. You know what I mean? And it's I was trying to explain, it couldn't work. He goes, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they said couldn't work a long time ago. I'm like, well, yeah, to a point. Yes, you can make things smaller and you can make things we have the ability to take all these things that were huge and clunky and just condense them down, but they still work on the same principles. Yeah. You know what I mean? And just shooting a current through air is, even if you can find a way to do it, isn't great for whatever's around it. You know what I mean? And he's just like, I don't know, dude. I just don't believe that. I really think someday it could happen. You know what I mean? And I was like, you're fucking crazy. But the older I get, it's maybe it could happen. I don't know. There's a lot of shit that's gone on in the last 15 years that really surprises me. I mean, I still tend to think that, I'm not going to be able to walk around and my phone battery's just basically not going to be a battery anymore. It's just a little self-generating.
I don't know. I feel like that it brings in capitalism too, how much money they're making.
Well, yeah,
mining and stuff.
So and if you want to talk about electricity, obviously there was more money in doing 3-phase AC than there was DC at the time, because you have to have all the conductor and you got to have 3 phases.
Yeah,
and they were gonna make money. Obviously, is why a lot of the DC stuff didn't catch on originally. But
it's why bombing took off after the Civil War. During the Civil War, to get the bodies back from the battlefields to their families, they started embalming them, filling them full of chemicals.
But the thing that's funny about that is it wasn't new technology.
No,
they're just basically going back to mummifying.
Yeah, But after the funeral homes, morticians were making so much money doing that because it was extra service. They just kind of made that the minimum, make more money.
Well, and then it gives you a whole enterprise. Everybody's going to want to do this with everybody that dies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just, the Civil War folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where,
money's awesome.
I'm sure back in the day, it was just well, dig a hole and bury them or burn them. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it amounted to. And then the funny thing that is even more ridiculous about it, if you really want to get down into the weeds, and we were way off our original topic here, but then they put fucking regulation involved to make sure that you now have to do that, because you can't just, and I'm not saying that there aren't
you can't scare the neighbor kids anymore with the dead body.
Well, no, I mean you can't just be well, Grandpa died, I'm just going to go out back and burn his ass.
Yeah.
You're not even legally allowed to do that anymore if you want to do it. And I get it, because then it makes it's a double-edged sword. It makes it hard to commit murder. You know what I mean? Because now you have to report the body dead. But obviously if you commit murder, or sometimes even if you accidentally kill people, still don't do the right thing. It's not like the side of the coin that was really for good intentions.
Yeah.
actually works whenever somebody has bad intentions. But then on the other side of the coin, that's just strictly to keep the money working. Well, that always turns up right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, well, you literally have to report this body dead. So then we then legally have to do some sort of disposal.
Yeah.
It can be whatever you want. We can bury it for you. We can burn it for you. Whatever you want. But it still costs money. You know what I mean?
You said accidentally killing, and it made me think, could you imagine accidentally killing somebody? Like, in general, like, what do you do? Because
Even worse, Kiefer, when you have kids. Whenever you're sitting around and you're just like, what if I fuck around and accidentally... And it could be me or it could be my inaction. That's the other thing that gets really, like, stupid. Like, I don't know, hell, that kid's fine. Like the other night, I caught Robbie was in the bathtub. And we never have any trouble with her in there now. Like, you can leave her in there, check on her, listen for her and all that stuff. But she always just plays around, does whatever, doesn't really... I caught her, she got a hold of the thing that we use to dump water on her head to wash her hair. I caught her trying to drink out of it. The thing's the size of her face. She's just...
waterboard.
It's like, yeah, it's like, you idiot. And then you're just like, then you look at that situation, you're like, I'm an idiot for ever leaving this kid not completely washed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like, you go through that whole life cycle of, I suck. I'm a terrible parent. She could have just drowned because I was doing the normal shit that I do all the time. You know? But you don't want to get stuck down that track of thinking because it's just as bad as the other way, right?
Yeah. Well, when I'm like around kids, a couple weekends ago in Jeff City, like I spent a day babysitting pretty much. I was like, I had the thought, like, if something happens to one of these kids, because we were down like a mile or two away from the house and we're at a creek. I was like, if something happens to these kids, I don't know what to do because there's like there's a baby, real little kids. I was like, I don't know how to manage the kids. I don't know how to manage the situation. If it was just one-on-one and something happened, I could manage that. But managing the other little ones, I don't think I could do. That's just so bad.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy too. So like Dustin literally saved Simon's life one time. We were down at Big Lake and he had been swimming with his life jacket and stuff on for quite a while. And he come out and he's like, I'm done swimming. It was a while before they moved. And I think it was would have almost had to have been before even the flood. So it was quite a while ago. Simon 20. So he was probably 3-ish, something like that. So he'd been playing on the bank, and we were just sitting there in our chairs, like down kind of on the little beach part. He was up playing on the bank or whatever. Well, he just decided he wanted to go back in the water, and he just ran straight out into it. And like, I mean, it's not super deep, but he's 3, so it was deep enough to cover his head, and even the mud in the bottom of it, you sink a little bit. Him not as bad.
And he's 3, he's not a strong swimmer.
He's 3, so he's not strong. He doesn't even know how to swim. You know? So like, we just see him, like, we're having a conversation. He runs by into the water, and we both, and I think Courtney was sitting there too, and we just watch him run into the water, and boom, down he goes. And, like, I literally, like, was getting up, but I didn't react as fast as Dustin.
Yeah.
So, like, Dustin was already chasing him in the water before his head even went under and pulled him up, like, within a few seconds. Whereas I was still so flabbergasted by the event that I was still, like, I think from the time everything happened, I had gotten from here to here. And Dustin, thankfully, was already in the water and pulled him up out.
Jeez.
But, like, yeah, but you're just like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just you don't realize how not in control of shit you are.
But you can't control other humans. And that's a little human reacting.
He just, I was just out there. I'm just going back out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it makes sense.
It's to him. Yeah, this is nuts. But all right, well, I think we're there for today.
Hang on the flip side of that,
can
you imagine accidentally killing somebody and being like, whoa, that's awesome? Because that's a common,
imagine
that happens though to like serial killers.
Well, sure. Well, I mean, so like, again, another level that you almost have to split this into 2, maybe short.
Oh, it's already split into 3.
Yeah. So how do I want to put this? What drives me nuts is people trying to suggest that things aren't addictive.
Oh, yeah.
So like they always argue that, well, weed's not addictive. Well, okay, alcohol may be addictive, but for some, like it really isn't addictive. Or like, they always try to do it with like drugs specifically, or even prescription drugs. Well, that's not addictive. whatever, or it's not habit forming or whatever. It's like, for some people,
Yeah.
like you don't know, like I feel like addiction is a very, very person to person
Yeah.
thing because you don't know what's going to trigger your brain to want to do it repeatedly. And regardless of whether it's some type of drug, you know, even as small as caffeine or nicotine, all the way up to, you know, heroin, whatever the case may be, or meth. Like obviously they're addictive because you get into that stuff and your brain just wants more and more of it. But my whole point is like there's people that can I mean, and I'm fortunate, like just be like, no, I don't want that. I'm not going to do that this minute. And there's some people that just cannot. Like once they experience it, that's what it is. I have a theory that there's probably something that everybody cannot say no to, but you don't always figure out what it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, so like that's always been my thing. Like you can try to say, well, it's not addictive. Like if you're somebody that's addicted to something, well, it's not addictive, so I'm not addicted to it. It's like, well, you fucking need it 24 hours a day. That sounds pretty addictive.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, you're an asshole or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be, right? It's like you can say that about anything, but for all I know, firing a gun is addictive. You know what I mean?
Gun's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, or it could be, you don't know, it could be eating a bar of soap. Like My Strange Addiction stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like when you watch that stuff, it's like they literally can't stop doing that. And it's not conventional crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so for you to sit there and say that's not addictive, well, it may not be addictive to you, or you may not think it's addictive, but it could be addictive to somebody else. Like,
Yeah.
And it's just same way with killing, with whatever. It just...
Can you imagine being on My Strange Addiction, like the lady or person who ever ate like the cotton balls as like their thing, and this whole time like that's not an addiction. I'm just quirky.
Yeah,
I'm just quirky like this.
No, I don't. I can stop anytime, which is obviously, of course, the sign that you're probably addicted to
Yeah.
it. But
I don't. Not smoking was like the easiest thing I ever did. Like it's a lot easier than you think. You just gotta unleash that dog in you.
yeah, well, and then some of that gets down to habits too, which is the difference
Yeah.
between addiction. So,
Now, I've always been.
what is it? If you can not do it, basically, if you can not do it for 21 days, isn't that the rule? You can break a true habit in 21 days.
And after, it's 21 days of doing something every day in a row. It starts forming the habit. Then after 2 months, it is a habit. It's something like that.
Right. Yes.
I've always been really good about if I don't want something, if I don't want to do something, I just like, in my head, just like throw down a wall or a barricade and like I'm done with it.
I had a hard time with smoking.
Yeah.
I finally, like I said, it just was, when I switched to vaping, it was just nasty.
Yeah.
I found smoking disgusting, and I couldn't go back to it.
Yeah.
Even I tried a couple times, you know, just, I'll try a cigarette. Don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
But I also think that some of that is because I had been prepping myself mentally for probably somewhere on the order of 6 months that I was going to try to stop. I was actually going to stop. So I think whenever the first thing that made it easy to quit, it just... You know what I mean? It just went ahead. Yeah, it just finished it for me. So
Yeah. So anyway, last Thursday when we got home, we went to bed and I put on Insidious 3. The ghost movie.
I don't like those very much.
It was like the perfect like after all that scary stuff.
Yeah.
And I was feeling fine. And we're watching it. And she's falling asleep, and I'm still watching. I'll watch scary movies like when I go to sleep, or like if I'm home alone for the weekend or something. Like it doesn't bother me. I just enjoy watching them. I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, I just got like super cold. I started sweating, but like I was freezing, and I got sick. And the whole time, all I could think about was it's that Clairol. I'm making fun of it by watching this movie or whatever, and now it's torturing me. And then I slept the entire week, and every time I woke up, I was like, this is how possession happens. I didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
And like the whole time I was just like shivering. When I was awake, I was sad. Like I was like mentally depressed.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is how it happens. McKinley's not going to know. She's going to think I'm sick.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yep. And that's why I didn't podcast this past weekend.
Oh man, could you imagine if we podcasted while you were possessed?
Oh, dude, that'd be crazy.
That'd be wild. As long as you didn't go crazy and kill everybody. No, that's good. And then, yeah, that's a good way to end up? So you were sick because you went to the little haunted place, you
Yep,
think?
and got possessed.
Yeah, that's wild.
What a...
You must have been such a dull possession. It just was like, 48 hours of Keef's enough.
I don't imagine it's dull inside my head. I imagine it's too much.
Yeah.
Because you hear some of the things I just randomly say.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's probably it, I'd say.
I'd say we're good.
It took forever
You
just
have
for me
to-
to finish my story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Perfect. All right. Goodbye.
We'll see you later.